only 83 are participants are there.
One moment.
Still people will join now.
Yeah, some more are likely to join. Because we are starting a new unit today. Just give me a minute. To market share with reference to the strongest competitor and the market growth rate, the annual growth rate on the y-axis. We have seen 4 different sections of this. We did discuss a lot on this aspect. So the star strategies normally, could be any of these: leader, expanding industry, or it generates large profits and it requires substantial investment to sustain growth. Farthest down on the experience curve relative to competitors, and increase sales, example, new markets, new channels of distribution, and increase in market share. Question marks are low market share in expanding industry, needs substantial cash to improve, slow progress, increase, and leave market. That's the alternatives that we have. Cash cows, they are the leaders which are mature and probably are on the decline side in the maturity level. And they are the cash generators and they support other strategic business units. They help support other business units as well with the cash or revenues generated and maintain. We try to maintain the market share by ensuring quality, build customer loyalty, and develop substitute brands, and maximize cash flow. Increase usage rate of replacement, modify expense structure, and raise prices. And dog strategies are low market share in a mature or declining industry. So slow progress, the experience curve, and cost disadvantages, and few growth opportunities. Therefore, we try to divest or harvest and concentrate on niche, requiring limited efforts. These are some of the strategies. But we actually started off saying we make use of this particular tool to assign the limited resources or the scarce resources that we have. So what do we do with this is the question here. So when we are analyzing the current business portfolio, the strategic business unit is a unit of the company that has a separate mission or an objective that can be planned separately. We gave an example of BHL at different locations, and it's a company division, product line with a division, or a single product or brand. So identify key businesses or strategic business units that make up the company. We assess the attractiveness of its various business units or products, and then decide how much support we give. And the difficulty here is defining the business units, and it's also very difficult to get the details of this, and it's quite expensive, time consuming, and there's noise getting generated somewhere. Rakshit? Yeah. Mute yourself, Rakshit. Good. So what do we do with this? Is the question. Having discussed that Rakshit Bharadwaj. Yeah. I wish to represent the revenues that are getting generated or the business effect by means of a circle, which would probably indicate the amount of revenue that is getting generated by the area that it covers. Suppose my business unit or my organization has such sort of, I have probably the problem child, which is the question mark, the high flyers, which are the stars, the cash generators, which are the cash cows, and also those which are declining, the dogs, at this level. Say, for example, let me show you some circles here. Okay, probably the size. The area of these circles indicate the position of that particular product in the portfolio of business that my organization has. In dogs, we have 3, which had had their good time, but now have declined in their market. Okay. This sense, if you see here, if I rate them, if I number them as 1, 2, 3, and similarly 1, 2 in the cash cows, 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I expect the dogs to sustain on their own. Even under the dogs, there is one which is probably having very low growth rate and also very low market share. It is declining. So the best business opportunity for me is to decide what to do with this. Either we divest, liquidate, or close the business activity. And if 2 and 3 are good enough with respect to the market share and the type of the growth that they are having, when they are able to sustain and support themselves, 2 and 3 are maintained. And in the problem child or the stars, 1, 2, and 3, 2 seems to be, as the growth rate is higher, the amount of cash investment is also going to be high. Therefore, 2 is small, but investment that it demands is probably high. So we have to be very careful when we are trying to think about 2. Similarly, when it is 1, the market share is low, but the size seems to be quite big. This is also under question. But 3 seems to be size is better, the growth rate is higher, and also the market share, relative market share is much, much better. Therefore, if at all we are to decide amongst the 3 products that we have, I probably prefer 3 to invest and encourage this particular product of the organization, the new product, so that I try to mentor this, guide this, direct this to become star of the organization. So it should be able to shift from this particular sector to this sector. Okay. Coming to the stars, 1 and 2 are low growth, but market share is also going to be high for these. 3 and 4 are definitely high, but they also demand higher. We try to encourage each of these. If at all to withdraw, probably 1 or 2 has to be chosen to be withdrawn, but not necessarily to be withdrawn. And 1 and 2 of the cash cows seem to be generating money for the organization. The question here is, my 1 plus 2 in the cash cow, the area of 1 plus 2 in the cash cows have to be more than the areas of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 of the stars plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 of the question marks. Then only I am on the positive front. Therefore, I have to balance my resources with respect to the cash cows, which are going to not only maintain their own products in this particular sector, but also help sustain the other products, either question marks or stars. Okay. So this is how we try to make a balance, a trial and error sort of a thing of depending upon the situation, depending upon the type of products that we are offering, and the market conditions that exist for each of those products that we have come up with, we plan to support those products in this particular sense. So now coming, if it is a star, we expect that to be a leader in the expanding industry. Therefore, continue to increase the market share, if necessary, at expense of short-term earnings. And the problem child is the question mark, though low market share in expanding industry. So harvest if weak, build if strong. So we did 1 and 2 we removed, 3 we said is doing good. So now build on that. So assess chances of dominating segment. If good, go after the share. If bad, redefine business or withdraw. That means to say we modify and improve our own product or the type of service with other features that are probably going to give a better chance for the product. Cash cows, they are leaders in the mature or declining industry, and hold them. We got to maintain, manage them, and share the cost leadership until further investment becomes marginal. We are not trying to invest more and more on this cash cows, but we should be able to reap the benefits of the investment that we have made earlier. So it helps to maximize our cash flows. Dogs, low market share. I forgot to start recording. Dogs are low market share in a mature or declining industry. So we divest an orderly withdrawal so as to maximize cash flow or concentrate on niches that require limited effort. So this is how BCG growth matrix is being used. Okay. Now we have one more matrix, as I was trying to mention to you. That is the Igor Ansov's matrix. Igor Ansov was a person who has identified with the strategy of this is also called the product market expansion grid. It tries to distinguish, it's a common sense sort of a thing where normally most of the organizations they do follow such sort of a business strategy. And as we say, Ansos's matrix is focused on the market conditions and the product conditions for a particular segment, the way we attract a particular market and a segment. So in this context, the matrix shows practitioners to consider ways with 4 different combinations to grow business. One is with respect to the existing or new products. Similarly, existing or new markets. Okay. So this matrix helps to define 2 key factors for the marketing strategies: what is sold and to whom it is sold. Okay. Therefore, it relates only to products and markets and gives companies 4 alternative courses of action when considering their marketing objectives. Selling existing products, the first strategy happens to be selling existing products to the existing markets, extending existing products to new markets, developing new products for existing markets, developing new products for new markets. These are the 4 available strategies as seen by most organizations. Okay, to depict pictorially, this is how it is. This particular column, first column, happens to be existing products, and the second column happens to be new products. The first row happens to be the existing market, existing markets, and the second row happens to be the new markets. The one with existing products and existing markets is called, the strategy is market penetration. Those with existing products for new markets is called market development. New products in new markets is product development. And new products for new markets is total diversification. These are the terminologies that are used for different strategies that we have here in this. it is a tool for identifying companies' growth opportunities through market penetration, market development, and product diversification.
Sir,
Yeah.
what is meant by providing existing products to new markets? Like how, like raw
Yeah.
material or like that?
Let me tell you. Let me take an example, a case study sort of a thing. It's a simple sort of. There's one company by name National Foods, okay, which started way back in 1970s with something about an annual turnover of about few thousand rupees, 16,000 or 20,000 rupees. It was dealing with spices at that particular stage. And once having introduced packed spices, it was successful in reaching the market, in satisfying the requirements in the market by packaging sizable, the sizes in which those commodities are required by the market. And by maintaining the freshness of the spices and also the quality of spices that are being supplied. So it went on to build for about 3 to 4 years. Very soon, what it did was not only dealing with the spices as it started grinding them and processing them to a little extent. And powdered spices have been served to the market. So that was an existing product in an existing market. That is what they have been doing. After having done this, what they did was they felt much more established and much more comfortable. The National Food Products has tried to cash upon. So far it has been trying to market only in that particular locality where it has been making, probably diversified, expanded into smaller geographical regions in the neighborhood. But later, what they did was the same products were marketed to different areas which they have never addressed before, and also trying to capture new segments of people other than these people. That means to say, having started expanding their market into other geographical areas, that is, existing product in new market areas. They also came to know that there are enough users in Australia, in America, for these sort of spices. So they started finding new segments of market. That means NRIs in US, NRIs in Australia, not only NRIs, but people who come from Pakistan, people from this part of the continent who are looking for such sort of spices. Wherever they existed, they found a new market. So existing products for a new market was what they were trying to supply. So their business has grown tremendously because the market has expanded into other geographical areas widely. Having done this, the next level of success of this particular organization is having had such sort of a distributory network, channels of distribution existing, it started concentrating on making other products. In the sense, wherever they were distributing, they also found that there were certain fruits and special fruits that were kino fruits, guava, tomatoes available, and so on. So what they did was they came up making sauces, jellies, pickles out of these particular natural products that are available in the areas that they were operating. Wherever they operated, they started collecting those sort of fruits and started supplying to different markets and different varieties by making use of other processes that they were not. So it was a new product in an existing market. Okay. So they were operating with new products, jams, jellies, pickles, and other things, sweet condiments sort of a things that they have been supplying. They were able to make like kheer and so on. They were able to market in the existing market, but they made new product which they were not earlier associated. Having done this, their progress was even better. And they have grown to be even much more better than what they were earlier. And the final level is that they realized that their consumers are now looking for, with the change of times, the consumers are now looking for convenience. So they came up with a new brand of Ronak called Ronan. And they started selling ready-made, not ready-made, that's called fast foods. In the sense, you just microwave it for about 2 minutes and you get a chicken curry ready. And they started getting into non-vegetarian items, biryanis, which are only, to be microwaved and fast food sort of a thing. So these are totally new products and totally, in new markets. They started doing it everywhere, wherever there was a necessity. So this was a total diversification. Diversification is an area where we had earlier no experience, either with respect to market or with respect to the technology of production or manufacturing or the processing of materials. Totally, it is new. Marketing is new, production is new, operational is new. So in that sense, it is a very risky business. So as we have seen in the others, in the slide now, the risk of operation keeps increasing when we go from an existing market to a new market. Similarly, when you go from an existing product to a new product, the risk is again increasing. The red arrows indicate the increasing risk in operations. But the sequence of operations of growth of an organization normally flows in this particular direction, from market penetration to market development to product development to diversification. These are the stages of growth of various organizations. Okay, is that
Yes, sir.
okay?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why I said this is a common sense viewpoint, but this is what is generally practiced. Businesses need to regularly look for new products, markets for future growth. A useful way of looking at growth opportunities is the Ansof's growth matrix, which suggests that there are four main ways in which growth can be achieved through a product strategy. And as we have discussed, market penetration is nothing but a growth strategy, increasing sales to current market segments without changing the product. Increasing sales of an existing product in an existing market when companies, that means to say, when I am able to sell my spices, I probably get in contact or I get into a deal, an agreement with a chain stores, a big chain stores, where they cash and carry things. So immediate payments are made and production is lifted by them. It is their headache of how they market the product. I just don't bother anymore about this. So, Walmart or, the chain stores or other things, they handle Fresh, Reliance Fresh, and so on. They do all this business for us, increasing the existing share in the existing market to facilitate further growth. So, in addition to my own network of sales, I take the support of similar such, arrangements. Product development is a growth strategy that identifies and develops new market segments for current products. Improve present products, develop new products for the current market. When companies develop existing products into new markets, it is known as market development. Taking existing product into new market, for example, expanding sales from purely the domestic market into European market. The product can also be targeted to another customer segment. Either way, both strategies can lead to additional earnings of the business. Market development, sell existing products into new markets. Companies develop new products in existing markets. This is called product development. And offering new products or modifying existing products into existing markets. Then final is diversification, which is a growth strategy for starting up or acquiring businesses outside the company's current products. In addition to coming up with new products in the new markets, you also acquire businesses outside, mergers and takeovers at this time. Develop new products for new markets. An organization that introduces new products into new markets has chosen a strategy of diversification, either with related products and markets or unrelated products that are totally unconnected with the existing products and markets. Related diversification describes how companies stay in a market with which they have some familiarity. Brand new products may also be created in an attempt to leverage the company's brand. So downsizing is also necessary sometimes. It is the reduction of the business portfolio by eliminating some of the products which are not doing well or which are not in line with the image of the organization as they grow. So it's the part of an overall strategy, not only growth, but also downsizing at times. Just go through this. The picture is mirror imaged. The number one choice is market penetration at the right bottommost corner. Be sure we are fully mind the potential of the customer base and the current market segments. We have the greatest familiarity and brand recognition right here. Right? And the third is the market development strategy on the right topmost corner. Taking current products, services to new market or customer groups. We know the products or the services, how to present them, where they are appropriate. The risk is understanding the new markets and competitors already there, and the difficulty of gaining credibility and a foothold. And then coming to the third strategy of product development, the left bottommost corner. Take new products and services to our existing customer base. They know us, they trust us, they are most likely to consider additional offerings. And finally, the product diversification, the diversification phase, top left corner. The most difficult, taking products or services newly developed, new to our people, into markets that are also new to us, where we probably have little brand recognition or established distribution channels. So this is how the risk keeps varying from the first strategy to the last. Yeah. So market penetration strategy is used when the product is in current market, it is still can still grow. And there are three major approaches: encourage current customers to buy more, attract competitors' customers, or convince non-users to use the product. Then market development. When the current product is launched in a new market, there are three approaches: expand distribution channels, sell in new locations, identify the potential users. Then product development. Develop new features, develop different quality levels, and improve the technology. Diversification. Develop new products with earlier technology for new segments. Develop new products for new markets. Develop new products with new technology for old customers. When new product is launched in a new market, diversification makes a good sense as better opportunities are found outside the present business. So this all depends on us. Any questions so far?
Sir,
With this,
so I
yeah,
have a doubt.
please.
New market means, new market means the place where our product is not sold by anyone else, right, sir?
No,
In crude way.
no.
If we are talking about spices,
Yeah,
if we are going into some other territory
yeah.
which we are not aware of, then it is
Not
new market, right?
not necessarily new territory. It could be a territory where we have never tried it before. Okay. In the sense, a product, if you are talking about diversification, developing a new product is something different. Developing a new product for a new area is totally different. What is it that you are talking about, Satish?
I mean, taking existing product into new market.
That
I
is
mean, in the case of
market
spices,
development. That is market development.
yes, sir.
Existing product into new market.
Yes, sir. Market development.
You remember, I have to take you back to the first definitions of core concepts that we talked about. When I talked to you about market, how did we define market?
Identifying right time, place, and
No, not marketing, market. Market, in common
market.
parlance, we said we have vegetable market, we have fish market, we have grain market, so on, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
But in marketing, when we say market, it is the set of people who are potential, existing or potential customers for the product that we sell. Okay?
Yes, sir.
That's how we define market. So when we say this, when we also said market is quite varied and heterogeneous, and we make use of a strategy called segmentation
Yes,
to
sir.
identify the different needs of the sets of people that exist in the market. Right?
Yes, sir.
So the segment that we could satisfy with respect to the resources that we have, the capabilities and capacities that we could mobilize, is called the market for us. So when
Okay,
we are
sir.
trying, yeah, today we are supplying, like I said, Nirma, which came up with 3 rupees a kilo, when Surf was selling something about 45 rupees a kilo. Okay. So 3 rupees a kilo, people who are using Surf would have never tried Nirma, probably, a large majority of them. But people who were looking at Surf, wanting to use, but who find it not affordable, probably would have tried. So this is a separate new segment, right? This is a segment which has not been touched by Surf. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So this is a segment that we are trying to focus on. Segment market, when I say new market, existing market, a new segment is also a market, not necessarily geographically different. It need not be
Okay,
in
sir.
Warangal.
Okay.
There could be different segments, different income groups of people, like children, women, girls, boys, men, retired people, so on. Okay, these are all various segments depending upon the type of products, but they come into being important depending on the type of products that we are talking about. Okay, we deal
Yes,
with.
sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Okay, understood.
so in
I
that
mean,
sense,
like in case of like, for example, I will tell something.
yeah,
Apple recently, like I don't remember, some 1 year or 2 years back, I think, it wanted to expand its market, so it launched some affordable version of its phone, right? So
yeah,
that is also market developing
that's it.
because that is new segment.
We are concentrating on a newer segment, yes, who could also afford this, right? That is
Yes, sir.
based
Okay.
on affordability or income levels of the individuals. Okay,
Okay, sir. Understood.
that's a new segment. That's a new market. Any further questions on this? On marketing? If there are no questions, I think this unit of marketing we have dealt in much depth. Okay, much more detail. I think I wish to close down this and go ahead with another chapter of our course, which is inventory. Any questions?
Hello, sir.
Hello,
Hello, sir.
Abhilash.
Yeah,
Abhilash.
yes, sir. I have, yes, sir. I have small doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the example Satish gave regarding that Apple product, we are not
Yeah.
only entering into new market, but we are also making some change in the product features and its capabilities, no sir. So
Yes.
doesn't it come under diversification?
One thing, it is not diversification, it could be product development.
Sir, here both market as well as products are being entering into new stuff. So that
No,
way,
Abhilash, the basic difference here about diversification is we not only get into newer markets and newer products, we get into areas which are totally new to our own organization. Okay?
yeah, fine.
Where we had no earlier experience, either with respect to the market or with respect to the product. We are totally new to this, right?
Yeah,
You heard of
fine.
Adani? You heard
Sir?
of Adani?
Yes, sir.
Adani,
Adani
Ambani,
Group, yes.
Adani, yeah,
Yes, sir.
Adani Group. What are
Yes,
they
sir.
into? Now they have gained total control on the airports in India. A large
Yes,
majority of airports are controlled by Adani Group now, right? They were not doing so before. It's a new
yeah,
activity for them, for this group of, right?
yes.
Yes. So that's a product diversification. It's a total diversification from their earlier areas. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Sir, can creating the same product for a different group of people that you're marketing to be
Yeah.
considered as product development or creating a new product, like creating a new version of the same product?
That's
Like
what
there
it
are
is.
Dell laptops, which are business laptops as well as student laptops.
Yeah.
So
But you
are they
yeah.
actually just creating a new product in their own field, or they're trying to diversify?
You're right. Piyusha, I understand your concern, contention. Like what Satish was mentioning, Apple making a different phone, which is lowly priced, okay, is something very similar to, they are in the same business, but came out with a different version of a product which satisfies a different set of people or which satisfies different market needs, right? And market is nothing but a set of people, again, potential and existing customers. So you are also trying to do the same thing right now when we come up with a new product, which is very similar to what we have already.
Sir, my actual concern in this is, am I making my own product compete with my own product in this?
You are, you are developing a product. It's a new product development. Okay. You are coming with a new product.
Okay.
You are coming with a new product to satisfy a newer segment. That means to say you have modified. Earlier, I was having this particular telephone instrument with metal casing. Now I have converted everything into plastics. Now JioPhone is coming up with all plastics and removable battery, I believe. Tomorrow or day after, they are going to release in the market, right? So this is again, introducing something that we had lost. Long time back, we were using that removable battery sort of things. Today, no smartphones have those facilities. Very few of them, if at all, there are any. So some of the features are improved, but some of the functions are still the same. We are modifying the existing product without writing off that particular design. They are only adapting it to the new environment. So that's also a new product for a new market, for a new segment of affordability. Did I answer you?
Yes, sir, it's clear now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? If there are no other things, I will try to unshare this, stop sharing this, and come up with a new slide for you. I'll be sharing these slides today, probably. Marketing slides that I have Yeah. Are you able to see the new slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are getting into something called inventory control, inventory management. Every executive, an engineer is not only an executive, is a manager in life. And as far as careers are concerned, we have to make several decisions. And unfortunately, in all these executive roles that we play, there are three things that are very important. There are three important resources that we manage. What are those three? Can you guess?
Sir, pardon?
There are three important resources that we all manage. In course of every activity, the challenges that we as engineers, managers face. There are three
Time,
important
effort,
resources. Time, exactly.
effort
Human
and money.
resource.
And human resource.
Time, effort,
Time,
and knowledge. Okay.
money.
Somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, Piyush, you are saying something.
Inventory.
So
Say it
human
again.
is a resource.
Human
Or
resource. Okay. Something, anything else?
Money.
Money, yeah. Very good. There are three things that we normally try to, they pose a lot of concern and problems for the engineers. They pose challenges for us in course of our careers. Firstly, time is a great resource. Okay. But more than time, we first realize that cost happens to be very important. So we got to be cost effective. Our decisions, our actions got to be cost effective. And once you talk about cost and time, the other aspect that we are all here is to be responsible for the quality as well. Okay? The quality of activity, the quality of performance, we are all responsible. So all these three are very serious concerns and challenges for all of us. Today, we are going to address this particular aspect of inventory as one of those components which controls the cost effectiveness of our decisions. So we have to now view this in that perspective primarily, and other perspectives of time and quality as well. Okay. Having said this, what do we understand by inventory? Now, this particular triangle of time, cost, and quality is very important for us. We'll come back to this a little later, even when we discuss about project management. Yeah. What is inventory? What do we understand by inventory?
It's like a buffer, sir.
Yes.
It's like a buffer. What is buffer?
A list of our resources, sir.
List of resources?
Something that
It
we
is.
are not using right now, but then we'll use in the future.
Oh, good. Good, Sunny. More than this, inventory is something like a stock. Okay? A stock or a store of goods or things, as Sangeet was mentioning, which we probably may not be using it immediately, but we are likely to use it in future. So in that sense, it is a resource of items of the organization. If it is a production organization, there could be probably raw materials, consumables, which we make use of in our day-to-day production activity in order to churn out, transform those raw materials into much more useful items for the market that we are trying to address, right? So the inventory, in a sense, is an idle resource. It is an idle resource of an organization. And what does it do? Does it have any other attribute? How is it important for us?
Something which has value, so we can rely on that in emergency.
What sort of value you're talking about?
So depending on the product, say if the cost would increase in the future, if we stock it up right now, then it would lead to like
Yes.
profit.
We are just talking about something, I buy gold today. Tomorrow, there is an escalation in the price and I sell it, right? Is that what you mean?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is one. Added to this inventory that we are trying to talk about has little more importance. It is not just the material, but the value that we store in the material is also important. What is that value that we can store in the material?
Investment.
Yeah, investment is already there. You don't get anything free. There is labor in this. When I work upon a material, I have loaded this onto a lathe machine. Okay, I turned it. I cut threads on this. What happened to this material? It is with a purpose that I have done this. And tomorrow I wish to do something more. So what happened to this material?
Value increased.
The value increases. My
Yes,
labor,
sir.
the labor wages that you have paid me have gone into the material now. Right?
Yes, sir.
So the value of the material has gone up. But it is not just value going up with respect to the labor. As somebody said, by inflation, by virtue of time, the gold value increases, the material value increases, steel value increases, cement value increases, and so on. But cement has a life period. So after a certain period, it loses its value, it becomes a stone. It has a shelf life. So beyond a particular period, it has no value. So some materials have value all along. Some materials probably do not. So materials have difficulties as well, right? So in that particular sense, the technology that I make use of, the royalty that I have paid for the technology that I am using to turn the product, to cut the threads and so on and so forth, and the raw materials or the tools that I have made use, the wear-in tools, everything is getting into the product that I have made by virtue of increase in value. So the value addition takes place in this inventory. In that particular sense, it has some importance. In that sense, it is an idle resource of an enterprise. And when we are talking about, when I said cost is one, inventory being cost effective, what are the objectives of a manager or an executive or an engineer? We did that in the first unit to create surplus. All of us are here to be productive, to create surplus, right? We try to
Yes, sir.
enhance the standards of life, the standards, the quality of things, and so on. So one of the greatest measure that we have, and we make use of several resources, and we talk about four M's, 5 M's. Are you sure what these 5 M's are? 4 M's are? Men, machinery, materials, and money. Of course, management, right? So these are all the resources that we make use of in transforming one product from a stage to a better product with value addition taking place. And in this sort of inputs being given, we have a challenge of being cost effective. And the measure of performance of any organization had been return on investment. Are you familiar with this term, return on investment, ROI?
No, sir.
Can you, yeah, I heard somebody saying yes. Yes or no?
Sir, it's like whatever products or services we provide, we should get the means the same amount in order to get some benefits.
Good attempt. Good attempt. But the term itself indicates return on investment. Guess now. I have invested something. I expect a return on this. It is expressed in terms of percentage. Profit to the investment made, a ratio of profit earned to the investment made. Do you accept this?
Yes.
So it's a simple measure. You know, a yardstick sort of a thing. Sometimes it is a thumb rule for us. So the investment, if you take the numerator, what is the profit? What is profit? Come on. Revenue generated minus costs
Investment.
or expenses incurred, right?
Yes, sir.
So I have generated some revenue. These are my earnings. And I had to incur certain expenses. Those are my costs. So the difference between these is what I call profit, right? If the numerator profit is difference of the revenue to that of the expenses, what is the denominator? Investment. What is this? What sort of investments? Let me tell you. You may not be so familiar, but you know this. You probably do not know how to express this. The denominator, when I talk about investment, for being able to do something in an organization or by myself, I need certain capital expenditure, fixed assets. I buy something which is fixed. Say, for example, I have a machine. I have a lathe machine or a drilling machine. So I spent about 4,000, 5,000 rupees to buy a drilling machine, right? In addition to this, I have some working expenditure, like I buy my tool bit, I incur certain expenses on the power supply for that, and so on. So these are my costs that I incur on this. This is also an investment, but this is a consumable sort of a thing. So fixed investment and variable investment.
Variable.
Yeah. So this is my working capital investment, right? So put together is my investment. Now, and my measure is to increase the return on investment. ROI is my increase in ROI is my goal. What are all the things that are possible now?
Reduce variable
In
investment.
the firstly, in the numerator. Come to the numerator.
Increase profits. Revenue.
Increase profits, but it has limits, right? When I increase profits, I can increase my selling price, but there should be buyers who would be able to afford this.
Decrease my investment.
Increase.
Say it again.
Decrease investment.
Decrease my cost overheads, my expenses, right? So that is being cost effective. I try to minimize. This is in my control. Whereas profits are not totally in my control. So I have to be very economical, cost effective in all my activities. So my productivity has to be higher. So in that particular sense, my profitability can be increased or when my expenses are reduced. That is what I can control. Similarly, coming to the denominator, I have two factors. One is capital investment, the other one is working capital. What is the control that I have here?
Working capital.
Working capital. How does working capital help? Now, I'm just trying to give you people an idea of the influences or implications of this inventory. When I perform my duties well, there will be no wastage in what I do. I don't have to write off a particular component saying this doesn't satisfy the standards for which it is meant to perform. Okay? Or it is lower size than what is required. I have removed more material than what I'm supposed to. So I have to be very cautious in performing my duties. Okay? So that I make full use of the material to the right possible extent. So that is being cost effective, reducing rejection, reducing wastage, increasing my productivity. And productivity increase in productivity means I am getting more outcome for the same input of investment, right? So I have more control on my working capital in this particular sense. So in that particular context, the topics that we have discussed now are all relevant to the inventory part of it. So inventory should minimize wastage, should improve quality, should minimize rejection, should have shelf life, and so on. Okay. Any questions so far? We do have certain costs on this. We will come back to the cost part of it, various other implications. If we are happy with the small discussion that we had on the inventory as of now. Can somebody read out the first slide? With this, I think it's time. We'll close for this today. Can somebody read out this slide, please? Satish, Piyush, anybody?
Inventory, an important part of current assets as well as working capital. Every business maintains inventory in response to the conditions in which the business operates. Normally, it comprises of raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. It is the financial manager's responsibility to ensure procurement and proper monitoring of inventory. To achieve this, it is necessary to get well acquainted with the different aspects of inventories.
Yeah. So, inventory system is a part of the supply chain as well. Okay. We have to have a great role of maintaining the supply chain. Not only maintaining inventories, but being able to procure and be able to serve. We will meet in the next class and I will share the marketing slides probably today, if not today, tomorrow. Okay. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.